So, America has been made great again.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited um, for the rise of our glorious leader. Uh, you know, I'm gonna take this off. It's gross. But I wasn't. On election night, me and me and Ben drank like it was the end of the days, man. But like looking back, I really wasn't that shocked. I mean,
Well, you were even saying on Facebook that Trump was going to win.
yeah,
I actually believed Trump was going to win.
yeah. I I don't know, man. I think that the fact that everyone acted so shocked is it's not really based in reality, and the main reason is not that people like Trump so much. It's that um, the Democratic Party is to blame. It's not Republicans. It's not the alt right. It's the Democratic Party. They're the reason that Donald Trump is president now because they don't really make any kind of effort to connect with people like me, working class people who have progressive beliefs. They would rather just, deal with their donors and have business continue as usual. And the corporate Democrat is done. If they don't step aside in 2020, well, 2018 for the midterm election, um, the Democratic Party is going to die because that form of politics it doesn't work anymore. So you go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone was saying Clinton was going to win. Every poll showed Clinton winning this election.
Right.
Here's what the real deal was. Every political scientist from every prestigious university was saying Trump was going to win, directly contradicting what the media was saying. Now, here was the theory that they had, and it's proven to be 100% correct over the last 120 years. Now, in the primary elections, anyone who's gone head on and has crushed their opponents in primary elections, which Trump did in the Republican primaries. I know Ted Cruz held on for a while, and so did John Kasich, but Trump won by a way larger margin than Hillary Clinton did against Bernie Sanders. By going off that theory of showing how they perform in head-to-head elections, actually foreshadows how they're going to perform head-to-head in the general election. And it's been that way in the last 120 years. Every candidate who's won did a way better job at beating their opponents in the primaries. So that's one reason. The other reason, this whole election cycle, I've been believing Clinton was going to win. Clinton was going to win. But after hearing these guys out, I kind of changed my thinking, like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump's going to be president. Then I saw on the news this factory in China. They make masks every election cycle of, like, president candidates.
Right, I heard
And
about that.
every time they make a mask, that person wins. In 2008, this factory started making Barack Obama masks, and Obama won. This year, all the way back in May, they made Donald Trump mask, foreshadowing that Donald Trump was going to win.
Chinese do control everything, man. Yeah, it really. I don't know. At the end of the day, this is almost not the worst thing because, well, from my perspective, because we have a midterm election in 2018. If the Democratic Party can get its shit together, we can take the House and the Senate back.
Gross.
Well, it's better than.
I don't care what parties control those, so you could say the Republicans, I'd say the same thing.
Well, okay. Here's.
It's probably actually even better because it's not just one party controlling it all. And if it was all Democrats across the board, I think that's super gross as well. And it is kind of gross that the Republicans have the House, Senate, and the executive.
Right, and they're going to have the Supreme Court because they're going to have a majority once they appoint.
The Democrats are going to
Whoever.
do something in 2018 because that's going to be way too much power. And one party's hands.
Well, that's my point, though. I legitimately think if the corporatist right wing of the Democratic Party steps the fuck aside, that 2018 we're gonna have enough power that Donald Trump isn't really gonna be able to do much, and then in 2020, someone like Elizabeth Warren will become president. And I know that's not something you're a huge fan of, but from my perspective, we have 2 rough years ahead of us, and after that, it's going to be okay. But we can't become just complacent. We can't just, like, well, see how it turns out. Because whether you're a progressive socialist like me or, you know, a libertarian that wants children to have heroin. I'm just kidding. You know, we have to be wary. I think the biggest thing to be worried about is not that he's going to be a fascist, but just that he's going to be incompetent. I mean, you know, I saw an article about him going to the White House for the first time this last Thursday. And apparently he seemed really surprised at what a huge responsibility being the fucking president is. Like, that's scary, man. I don't know.
I think that's some mainstream media bullcrap. Here's the deal.
All right.
No one running for president, and then, like, they get elected, oh my gosh, I didn't understand what this job actually was.
Most people that become president have either been senators or governors, though, man.
Yeah, no, I think once people become president, it might be a shock to them. For most presidents, once they become president, I think there's some article just trying to paint a picture like, oh, look how incompetent Donald Trump is. I don't know. If Donald Trump is truly surprised about the responsibility of being president, then he's just an idiot. Which I already do think he's an idiot, but I don't think he's that big of an idiot.
Okay, well, let me ask you about this. Have you heard about all the protests happening all over the country?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well,
what's your stance?
I wanted the Cleveland Indians to win the World Series, and the Cubs won, so the Chicago Cubs are not my champions.
Well, you know, you son of a bitch. So, I have really mixed feelings about it. I think that it makes a good political statement to the world to say, hey, not a vast majority, a good chunk of us don't support him. However, the problem is when the anarchists come out to play, those guys are the fucking worst. Every time a progressive movement tries to make a point about something, these dumb motherfuckers come out with their goddamn do-rags around their fucking face so that no one can see them. And they blow shit up, and they start robbing stores and causing people physical harm. That's the problem with these protests, is these fucking dipshit anarchists coming out. I don't know. I hate anarchists, and they ruin everything.
Here's the thing. The media is going to paint a picture one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think both sides, people, especially during the elections, are like, oh, look how violent Trump protesters are. Well, I think the anti-Trump protesters were equally as violent. I really do think, whatever, man, both sides were equally at fault. And there were as many people who were brutalized at Trump rallies, there were just as many Trump supporters brutalized by anti-Trump protesters. I saw a video this week of this guy with a Trump bumper sticker driving through Chicago, got drugged out of his car, and got the crap beat out of him in the middle of the street for having a Trump bumper sticker. No, and I think both sides are at fault. There's a bunch of idiots. But the media, whether it's Fox News, are going to tell you how terrible the anti-Trump protesters are, or MSNBC, they're going to tell you how terrible the Trump supporters are. I think both of them were equally as violent. There's not one group that was more violent than the other.
No, I have to disagree with you on that. And I'll tell you, here's the thing. I think that as a whole, not Trump supporters who just supported him, but as far as like people that were active on the campaign trail, overall those guys were way more violent. Whereas, okay, I saw this one video. It was in Portland. This dipshit Trump supporter. It really sucks that anything bad happened to his car, but he knew that there was a anti-Trump protest going on in the streets, and he drove his truck or his Humvee, whatever it was, with a Trump flag on it through the protest, and he got stopped because he got surrounded. And 3 anarchists, a bunch of people yelling at him like, "Oh, fuck you, fuck you." 3 anarchists went around bashing his taillights, trying to break his windows. One of them had a wrench. The other 2 fucking idiots had skateboards, and they were trying to break his window with their skateboards. Hold on. While that was happening, everyone was screaming at the guys who were trying to fuck up his car, peaceful protest, peaceful protest. And after about 7-8 seconds, these 3 guys got stopped by other protesters. Like, what the fuck are you doing? That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't think that would happen at a Trump event, dude. I don't think other Trump supporters would be like, "Stop, man, stop. We're being peaceful." I just don't buy it. But
yeah, no, I saw this video of this guy. He went to a Bernie rally wearing a Trump shirt and was like asking people for hugs, and then he did the same thing at Trump rally, and it was pretty much the same result overall. Like, he went to the Trump rally with a sign that said "Hug a Bernie supporter," and people were actually really nice to him. Same thing, he went to the Bernie rally with a Trump shirt and said "Hug a Trump supporter." I think genuinely most human beings are decent people, and I don't think one side was more violent than the other. The one thing that really does irritate me, though, in the left, you can just say the violent protesters are anarchists and they're not part of our group. With the Trump rallies, they could say on the news, "Oh, well, this is the main group of Trump supporters." Instead, if a conservative actually comes out and says, "No, those are the neo-Nazis, they're not part of us," the media will be like, "No, they're all part of you, it's all the same." That's just like saying the anarchists are part of the progressive movement. It's simply not true.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
I don't think it's fair for one side to be able to disassociate their dumb protesters, but the other side's not allowed to.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I get what you're saying. That actually makes sense. But regardless, though, the protests are probably a bad thing, just because there's more productive things to do than that. Like, there's this movement. She won the popular vote, and there's this movement. They want
to get rid of the Electoral College.
Yeah, but retroactively. And here's the problem, though.
You heard Trump said he wants to get rid of it.
Yeah, no, and we should get rid of it. But here's the thing, though, dude. You do that retroactively now, we will literally have a civil war. Like, we just gotta accept it and let it go and move forward.
Yeah. As much as I would like to talk about the Electoral College right now, I don't think we have enough time.
Yeah, no, that's a whole thing. Man.
And yeah, that would take a whole video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the reason Donald Trump won is that he was the populist candidate. I think we can both agree on that. I think at the end of the day, not a lot of people who voted for Trump actually liked Trump. I think a lot of people just hated Hillary Clinton.
No, you're wrong. Everyone that supported Trump is a sexist, and they hate brown people. And
well,
white supremacist.
I know. Well, it's kind of infuriating to me when I see headlines that say that. Trump. I saw a headline that said Trump won because of racism. Trump did not win because of racism. Trump won because he's not Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, no, that's a fundamental misunderstanding of, well, I'll call them conservative Democrats. I don't know that they would agree with me on that, but the establishment Democrats, they don't understand that, there's so many people uh, from like if we're gonna use these terms, Generation X and Millennials, uh, are, you know, historically have been from middle class families that are now working class. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that manufacturing virtually doesn't exist in this country anymore. Um, so if you've got someone that's not even gonna address the working man, why the fuck would they want to vote for him?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump won because the American people are sick of the establishment, either Republicans or Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Donald Trump is a dummy, Hillary Clinton is in the embodiment of what establishment politics in the United States is. And a lot of people couldn't back her up because of that. People wanted someone who was not part of the establishment, and that's why Donald Trump won. He did not win because most Americans hate black people. He did not win because most Americans think women need to live in the kitchen. He won because people simply didn't want an establishment. That's why Bernie Sanders will have wiped the floor with him because, he's been an independent his whole career and he hasn't been part of the establishment.
Well, the big difference, regardless of obviously the radically different political beliefs, but the biggest difference between Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump is, and I can expand on this a lot, but in the 1960s, Donald Trump was getting arrested, protesting the segregation of minorities, while Donald Trump was out on his fucking yacht, just banging as many broads as he could. I mean, just that alone.
To be fair, though, if you were a rich guy in your 20s in the 1960s, you would have been doing the exact same thing.
How dare you, sir? But the point is that Bernie Sanders has been fighting for progressive ideals his whole life. Starting even in the early 70s, he was fighting for gay rights, man.
Which is true. But the election is over. The people have spoken, and America has been made great again.
Yeah, so do you want to talk about Gary Johnson at all, or do you want to wrap it up?
No, I wanted to go 15 minutes.
All right.